Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of StormCast. Today is Sunday, June 4th, 2017. Great to have some of our fellow team members with us for this week's edition of StormCast. Got a couple cool things to talk with you guys about, catch up with you guys about the weather. Not a whole lot's been going on. It's been a pretty quiet, nice weather pattern for the past couple weeks. Stormy across parts of the south, though. I had a couple tornadoes. Last big weather event was actually May 27th, so just a little bit over a week ago. So we're going to talk about a couple things. One thing that I wanted to first of all do is welcome everyone. So Elena, good to have you from California. And we also have Cindy out in Oklahoma, although a little bit injured, but she's still here, so definitely appreciate that. And we have Steven up in Montana. He's going to tell us a little bit about some severe weather that he had earlier today. And I am your host, Joseph Pisani, here in the wonderful, comfortable Atlanta, Georgia. Thankfully, we have not had a early summer like we did last year, so it's been pretty nice. But let's get right to it. A couple of things I want to talk about. First thing is that right now, across much of the south and east and central part of the country, it's been actually pretty pleasant temperature-wise. Temperatures have been in the lower 80s, upper 70s across much of the southeast into the central states, and pretty cool across parts of the northeast and northern parts of the country. But we're going to see a little bit of a weather pattern change coming up here by this weekend into next week. We're going to see average to slightly above average temperatures for much of the central U.S. and the eastern U.S. We're going to see the jet stream kind of retreat back northward as that high pressure across Greenland is going to weaken, and that's going to bring in a lot drier and warmer conditions for parts of the southeast. Now, these next couple days, tomorrow, Tuesday into Wednesday, will still be a little bit stormy, especially across portions of Florida. They're expecting a good amount of rain from some tropical moisture that's been tropical disturbance there in the Gulf. No tropical development is expected at this time, but I should mention hurricane season did start just a couple days ago. Runs from June 1st through November 30th. So that is definitely something we're going to be keeping an eye on, is that pattern change. We'll be getting back up into the 90s here by next week. So I want to let you guys kind of tell us about what your weather's been like the past week. So Elena, we will start with you. How's things been out in California?
Hot. Really hot.
Any rain or not a whole lot of rain?
We had a little shower a couple of days ago, and then it got up to 83, and it was humid. And then the day after, it hit 103.
Oof.
Ooh. And like this week, it's getting 80s, 90s.
That's a lot better. I would rather take 80s and 90s over 103. So that is good. That is good. And I know you're in the Southwest, so monsoon season actually starts here in just a little over a week, June 15th. The official start of the Southwest monsoon season. So places like Arizona, New Mexico, Four Corners region, Utah, those regions, we're going to start seeing the monsoon season kicking off there in just a little over a week. So maybe a little bit more showers and storms as we get into the middle of June as monsoon season kicks off there. Now, monsoon season kicking off in the Southwest. Meanwhile, in Oklahoma and those places, we're actually going to be talking about the wildfire season going to be starting up here. So, Cindy, what's the weather been like there, and what are you looking forward to this week weather-wise? What are they saying?
It's been tropical since last Tuesday. It's been very, very, very warm in the morning and very humid. But we have thunder, lightning, and nothing rained. And then Friday we had heavy rain, and Saturday we had heavy rain for a short time. And when the rain moved out, you could cut the atmosphere with a knife. It was so humid.
Wow.
It felt like Florida. And
Yeah.
now they're expecting we're going to have rain right up until Thursday.
Yeah, and then after Thursday, looks like that's when the pattern changes and start changing, and you're gonna see your temperatures go up, probably up closer to the 90s, and it's also gonna be drier. So the rain and the storms will go away, but your temperatures are gonna get a lot warmer. So yes, the sun's gonna be out, but at the same time, it's gonna be a lot hotter. So if you don't mind the heat. If you don't mind the heat and enjoy the sun, then it's good. If you're not a fan of really hot temperatures and would rather have a little bit of storms around, not be able to do as much outside, then what you got going on right now is going on. And that's kind of the way it's been here in Atlanta these last couple days. We really haven't had a whole lot of really hot days so far in the end of May and the beginning of June. Like today was only about 82 degrees maybe, if that. And tomorrow's supposed to be like 80, 79. Next couple days, upper 70s, low 80s. Stormy through the first half of the week. And then we're going to see that jet stream retreat to the north. And we're going to see that warm, hot air, tropical air. It'll be hot and humid, but not really enough to have a whole lot of thunderstorms with it, as high pressure is going to be dominating much of the eastern part of the country and the southern part as well. So from where you're at all the way over here to Atlanta, gonna be a hot one for sure. But hopefully it won't last too long, and we won't have what we had last year, where we had I think it was 37 consecutive days where the temperature was 90 degrees or above here in Atlanta.
Yes, I remember.
Last June and July. That was just too much. Like I can take 4 or 5, and then it cools down, and then another 4 or 5. But when it's every day for those long stretches, it's just too much in a short period of time. Steven, how's the weather been up in Montana? I mean, you guys have had some pretty nice weather up there this past week.
Yes, and it got pretty hot today. It got close to 80 degrees. It was very hot yesterday. I was working at a basketball event where there was over 1,000 basketball teams playing, and they had a medical team on standby with like nurses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about 80 degrees out and stuff like that. It was a beautiful day yesterday, and today was not too bad of a day, and then severe weather came through, dropping.
Yeah, tell us about that, because we saw you were in the slight risk and marginal risk area today up there in parts of Montana and Idaho. So I saw a couple of storm reports.
When I was at the desk, my phone started to go off severe thunderstorm warning, and I looked on the radar. It was still far out, got closer into town, and then all of a sudden the rain and hail disappeared. It went towards Vaughn, Montana.
Mm-hmm.
And then went from Vaughn, Montana, all the way up into Tupelo County. And there's still a storm going on up there, but there's no severe thunderstorm warning on it.
Yeah, I saw a report from near Fort Benton, Montana. There was a storm chaser out there, and he had estimated a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust with one of those storms earlier today. So that's pretty strong winds there.
The guy that reported it is actually from here.
Yeah, that is definitely pretty crazy. So
and the wind wasn't too bad, and everything, so all was perfect, and yeah, it was a beautiful day today. It got really dark around 4 o'clock, and then the rumbles of the thunder were starting to go off and everything, so we were outside doing some work, and so we all went in. everything because we knew that it was going to rain, but it hardly did anything like that. And there was a couple of calls, nothing too big for the fire department down there, so that was good.
Well, that is good. And see, Dan's here, so good to have him with us.
Hello, guys. How's everybody?
I know he was. You were on a cruise this past week. So, how was the weather for the cruise?
Absolutely gorgeous. I was a little concerned towards the beginning of the week because at first they were predicting rain, but I said, nope, it's going to hold off. The high pressure is going to stall, and sure enough, it did. And it ended up being a great day. Great day for a cruise.
How long was the cruise? Where'd you go?
Lake Michigan there. What's
Lake
that, Joey?
Where did you pull out from? Like, how far did you go? How long was the cruise?
Oh, not too far. Started on the Milwaukee River, and then if you Google the Hoan Bridge, Hoan, we went right under that. We never left the breakwater, but we went up towards what would be Veterans Park, if you're familiar with the Milwaukee area, and then down towards almost South Shore, and then back into the river again. At the pier, so
it's awesome. Sounds nice and relaxing.
It was highly recommended.
Awesome, man, awesome.
But the weather's been pretty good around here. Hot actually for us. I don't know what the official high today was at Milwaukee, but at some point earlier I did check today, and I know it got up to at least 88.
Wow, that is
I don't
hot.
know if we cracked 90. But I know it was at least 88 earlier this afternoon, so yeah, that's pretty warm for us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's hotter up there than it's been here. I mean, today
and the dew point was kind of high too. 82. It was about 63, 64 degrees, so it was a little sticky, but not too bad.
Yeah.
Meteorological summer has definitely arrived here in Wisconsin.
For sure. And speaking of Wisconsin, I mean, now that we're getting into June, we're going to start seeing severe weather also on the increase.
I know.
Yes,
for portions
for
of
Wisconsin, the month of June is on average the month that we see the most tornadoes. I've taken a look a little bit on the forecast, and we've kind of settled into a bit of a quiet pattern for the next week or so. But we'll see what's in store for mid-month and towards the end of June. But yeah, I'm expecting it to pick up intensity a bit. This is our time of year, and even into July some, but June we ended up getting on average the most tornadoes, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I know you northern Wisconsin was in the slight risk area a couple days ago, and they got some a lot of more wind and some hail reports. There was that one tornado out in near Greensburg, Kansas. I'm not sure if you saw that one, but there was actually a guy that was mowing his lawn as the tornado was kind of swirling, probably a couple miles behind his house. I don't know how far it was estimated, maybe a mile.
And I thought that was in Canada, because I know.
Oh no, yeah, that was the Canada one. That was the Canada one. Yeah, and the guy was just like, okay, I'm just gonna mow my lawn, and I'll just,
I was keeping an eye on it, is what he said.
I was like, okay. I guess tornadoes don't do a whole lot of moving there in Canada. They just kind of drop and just sit there and swirl. So I heard Canada has some awesome tornadoes. So if you ever get the chance, since you're up there in Wisconsin, Canada's not too far away. Maybe go on a little tornado tour up there.
There's a tornado over there, don't you know? Way over there, hey.
Yeah, But yeah, like you were saying, it's going to be a pretty overall pretty quiet weather pattern the rest of the week. Not sure if you caught the first part, but the jet stream is there. We've had this big dip in the jet stream across the eastern half of the country, which has kept it pretty stormy and wet across our area here in the southeast, like Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, which Florida has been experiencing a pretty severe drought for the first half of 2017. So all the rain that they're getting is actually welcome relief for them. There was a little bit of a disturbance there. But that jet stream's kind of supposed to creep back northward and settle in kind of across your area there, across the northern states, and bring that hot, warm, dry air back to much of the southern half of the country. So Bring on those 90s. Bring on those 90s. Hopefully, don't get another 30 straight days of them.
See, I like them for storms, but I don't like them for sunny days.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
little
Like,
too hot for me, but to each their own.
exactly. If it's going to be that hot, I'm really like, okay, I need, some sort of instability so we can get some afternoon thunderstorms so it'll cool that temperature back down and have a pleasant evening. But we'll see what happens. We will definitely see what happens. But definitely good catching up with you guys for sure. Not a whole lot to talk about. Obviously, hurricane season, I mentioned this earlier, just started June 1st. We've already had the first tropical entity, which was Arlene. That was back in May. The next named storm would be Brett, followed by Cindy. So you're on the list there, Cindy, making the list. Don, Emily, Franklin, Gert, Harvey, Irma, Jose, Katia, Lee, Maria, Nate, Ophelia, Philippe, Rena, Sean, Tammy, Vince, and Whitney. So that is the list of the 2017 Atlantic hurricane season names. Predicting Weather Channel's predicting slightly above average season, 14 named storms, 7 of those hurricanes and 3 major hurricanes this year. So we'll have to see how things shape up for the hurricane season. Obviously, last year, we got to kind of chase 2 of the big ones, which was Hurricane Hermine and Hurricane Matthew. So we'll see if El Nino develops or if it doesn't develop, because that's going to play a factor in this year's hurricane season. It could return. It could not return. So looks like if the El Nino conditions develop, then it would be a bit less active. If the El Nino can hold off, then there may be a bit of an uptick in tropical activity across the Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. But other than that, it seems like it's going to be a pretty normal weather week.
I got a little summary, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
For spring. Now, this is for Milwaukee, so I'm sure much of this would apply to southern Wisconsin as well, if you happen to be watching this and you're in that area. But my local National Weather Service put out a neat graphic not that long ago, and it was just kind of capping meteorological spring. Sometimes that can be a hard word for me to say. So for spring in Milwaukee, we finished 1.6 degrees above average. The hottest we got was 87 degrees. That was back on May 16th. We finished just over 3.5 inches for total precipitation. And for snowfall, we had 4.5 inches above average, with the highest 24-hour total being 8.7 inches. So
wow. 8.7 in 24
a little
hours.
warmer
Pretty good.
than average and a little bit more precipitation than average is how we finished off spring up here in southern Wisconsin.
Well, the next couple of days gonna be, could see a lot of widely scattered storms with this frontal system kind of draped from Ohio all the way back to northern Arkansas. So we're gonna see a lot of widely scattered storms from Texas all the way over to Florida, even up toward Pennsylvania. You could see a little bit of severe weather maybe tomorrow, and maybe out toward the Poconos and the Appalachians, northern Appalachians there tomorrow. On Tuesday, that front is slowly going to sag to the south, and we're going to see this coastal low develop across Louisiana. So that's going to bring a lot of rain to the Gulf Coast region. Western Florida could actually see some flash flooding on Tuesday and a lot of moisture there across Western Florida. So wouldn't be surprised to see maybe some flash flood watches go up for Western Florida. But right now we still have a couple of severe storms going on in Texas, and it's had 52 severe wind reports today, 4 hail reports scattered across anywhere from Montana to Idaho, Texas, North Carolina, Virginia, Indiana, and Ohio, and even one report in New Mexico and also in Wyoming. So pretty widely scattered reports today. But there are a couple of flash flood watches in effect right now for portions of the Tennessee, Kentucky area, and then also where that coastal low is going to develop near Louisiana. They've already issued some flash flood watches out there, but the rest of the country, pretty quiet. So hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week on StormCast. I'm going to be going up to Dollywood middle of this week, so that should be fun, taking myself a little vacation from work. But Elena, Dan, Steven, thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight here on StormCast. And we look forward to seeing everyone here. Be sure to check out some of our other videos, guys, and also give our YouTube channel a subscription. And we'll see you guys next Sunday night. Have a great week.
Good night, everybody.